Well, welcome back, guys. We are super excited to introduce. I am super excited to introduce this next program. If you can't tell by what's already out on the platform, this is going to be fantastic. Sympathy design, I think, is the bread and butter for lots of our shops, and so it's super important to stay on trend and to be able to offer a wide variety of things, because there's lots of the funeral industry is changing, so it's important to stay on top of that. And we've got two of the best here to talk to you about Sympathy Stylings. Sponsored by our good friends at Syndicate Sales, we have Mr. Derek Woodruff and Miss Helen Miller. If you guys would like to come on up.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much. We sure appreciate it. We can't wait to see what you got.
Thanks, Doug.
We're excited to be here.
Hi, guys. How are you? We awake after lunch? We good? Yeah? Excellent. Can everybody raise your hand? Everybody raise your hand. Hi. Good. You know how to ask questions. That's great. We hope for some of that. So, my good friend Helen and I are here to give you a really great program. Helen, why don't you tell them about yourself?
So I'm Helen Miller, AIFD, and I have been involved in Great Lakes Floral Association for many, many years. And if you're not involved, please do get involved, because it's a fabulous organization. I have a shop in Adrian, Michigan called Flowers and Such, and I've had it for 40 years. I don't look that old, right? I've also been a guest designer at the White House twice. And I've been to Belgium, and I've done couture fashion shows there as well for Floral, which was really amazing. So flowers have been such a huge part of my life, and I'm so very grateful for them. And Derek?
My name is Derek Woodruff. I am a child of the Great Lakes Floral Association, I like to say. Not anymore, obviously, but I've been a floral designer for 22 years. I'm owner of Floral Underground in Traverse City, Michigan. I started in 2008. And I've done kind of everything in the floral industry. I like to describe myself as a wide, shallow pool of talent. So if you need help doing something, I probably know how to do some of it. Sympathy work is really interesting to me. I've always found it a challenge, and I find that most of the funeral homes in my area come to me when they've got a particular design that they're looking for. One time I had to put a surfboard in a casket spray. It's that kind of thing. So luckily, I have the background of competing in the competition here that allows me to figure out those kinds of mechanics. But we've got some great stuff to show you today when it comes to mechanics, thanks to our amazing sponsors at Syndicate Sales.
Yeah, Syndicate Sales is amazing. Derek and I had the honor, is it a year ago? 2 years ago.
I think it's coming up on 2 years now.
Of being asked to put this beautiful book together, and so all of our designs are in here, and it was really a pleasure. I have to give a shout out to Anna and to Jessica. Jessica did all the photography in here. Anna did a lot of editing and helped with everything. It was an amazing experience, and we're both so honored.
Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. They're right here in the front row. That's pretty awesome. They're amazing people, very talented people.
Oh, we did this in what, 4 days?
We
hauled this baby around with us everywhere we went.
This is our casket. Isn't she pretty? I had to twist some arms to get her up here for this, but.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to really quickly tell you about this book, because we, as florists, have specifics that we need to use when we use these books with our clients. So we did all of it by color. So when you first open the page, you'll go to all the whites. Then you can go back further, and then you'll see all the pinks and lavenders. So it's really easy if a client comes in, and what's the first thing that they tell you when they come in for a consultation? They'll say, my mom loved lavender. And you can just open it up to lavender and show them all those beautiful pictures. The other thing that was how it was set up is actually by the type of style. So we have some for the home, the casket sprays are all in one section, all of the cremation centerpieces are all in one section. So it's really easy if they're coming in for a memorial to find exactly what they're looking for instead of having to go through the whole book. The other thing that they've done is we've put recipes. Derek and I did all the recipes for the arrangements, so you know exactly what's in them.
That was fun.
Yeah. They're not priced out because we don't know your labor cost, what you want to charge, and how much your flowers are. So you get to do that part. But it also also gives you the opportunity to swap things out so you know exactly where you are on cost, which is really important these days. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to tell you about that. And we'll
It's a
be
really
having-
good book. It was, I mean, two florists putting it together, like it's really challenging to do something like that. And we know that there really hasn't been a new book produced in a while, and we need some inspiration every now and then, right? We tried to make these very approachable designs.
Yep.
We tried to use ingredients that could be easily substituted. So if you need to use something that's seasonal or non-seasonal to swap it out, that's easy to do that. And there's different ways to take this interpretation and make it something else, which is kind of what we've done here today, is take some excerpts from this book, color palettes and whatnot, and did something really creative to try and inspire you as well.
So we started with the white palette that is in the book, and we wanted to take it a step further, and we're hoping that you'll take this as your inspiration and go beyond that and use your own creativity and your client's personality and what that person who is deceased, what their life story is, and express it. So that's what we wanted to do today. So the traditional or more loose styled pieces are in our book, but then we want you to take it a step further. So we're going to start with the Casket spray here. I love foliage, first of all. I must want to tell you, anytime I can use it in my arrangements.
I wouldn't have guessed.
I love it. But look at the textures and the colors that it gives that arrangement. It's so pretty. The one in the book is very elongated, and we wanted to show at least a couple full-size Casket sprays. And I think it's so interesting that every region and every county and every state has a different way of making their Casket sprays. So some of them are very mounded, some of them are very long cascading, some of them are more of a blanket that go completely across. So just take the inspiration and use it in your own area of what you would like to do with it and what your clients are used to. But I wanted to show something tall and really showy. It's very linear, and one little secret thing.
I love secrets.
If
this is
you,
fun. We got lots of surprises for
we
you.
do have a lot of surprises. If you need the height, but don't have the flowers to do it, the height or the length of the flowers, what I used was this little urn from Syndicate Sales, and it's made for the cemetery or for a small arrangement. And I actually added it to the back of this piece.
Ta-da.
So it comes right out.
I know, we love reveals. It's great.
I've had clients ask me if I could do something to incorporate flowers that could stay at the cemetery, maybe more in a permanent situation. Actually, I had one that was a hunter, outdoorsman, and they wanted something that could stay there at the cemetery. So I incorporated some dried materials and bark and different things, and I had it also in my spray, and they were so appreciative. So isn't it fun when, I don't want to say fun, funerals aren't fun, but
We put the fun in funerals.
but isn't it's challenging when your client says to you, can you do this?
Yeah, it's not always practical to bring a casket spray to the cemetery. So this is a practical way that you can
Right.
add to the presentation when it's at the funeral home.
Exactly.
And also have something to leave as a keepsake at the cemetery.
Yeah. And it's real simple to do. It just went right down into the casket itself, the spray, and it's very sturdy. I would also make sure that you're talking to your funeral home directors and let them know about this so that they can also help the families to place it at the funeral.
Communication is key. It's very important. And we'll talk a little bit today about relationships with those funeral directors. So those are all the important things. As far as consultations with families too, it's all about communication. Let's talk about this piece.
You like that one? Do you guys like this one? You like that? Yeah?
This is an interesting piece because Helen wanted to present something and she made it and I was like, that's really cool. And she's like, it's really old.
Old school, guys, old school. But what old is coming back? What is old is new again, right? And
Sure.
maybe some of you are in my age bracket, really young, that possibly remember this. But I had a boss when I first started in the business, and he was a saver and very wanted to reuse everything. I'm kind of like that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm kind of a
We know.
pack rat, yeah.
I've seen your shop.
So he would save after weddings. We used to use the the old
aisle
cloth,
runners,
the
yeah,
cloth
yeah.
aisle runners, and after they get cleaned from the laundry, and then coming back, sometimes they get a little frazzled at the ends, and so he didn't want to throw them away. So he would take those and wrap them around. This is just a hard foam wreath frame inside. And I just took fabric, and you can pin it, or I actually just used a bullion, this like a silver around there, and just made poofs all the way around. At the top is a small cage from Syndicate Sales that's been anchored on there, and then just a really pretty kind of a cascade waterfall feel of all the florals. Super simple. You know, if you've got those specific colors, like, oh, my mom loved teal, and you're like, what the heck am I going to do? I don't want to spray flowers. This might be a really good suggestion for your clients as well. I hope you like that.
Obviously, cremations have been on the rise for a number of years now. There's a lot of popularity in celebrations of life. And sometimes it's budgetary, sometimes it's for other reasons. But we have to cater to a lot more cremations nowadays than we ever had to before. So we like to work with professional mechanics. I actually spoke a little bit on this last year about how we as florists like to come up with little hacks. And we create really weird stuff sometimes to do floral arrangements in. And most of the time that's because there's a need in the industry. Well, one cool thing about Syndicate is that they work with floral designers to create mechanics or tools that help florists with those needs. And they usually are working with floral designers. So one particular mechanic is something like this. This looks very familiar, I'm sure. The idea of an urn riser, but also a multi-purpose container. So I myself don't do a ton of funerals. As I mentioned, I do lots of different things, and I only get the funerals that are weird. But I need to be able to use mechanics for other things. So I do a lot of events, for example. So I need to be able to switch things out and use these mechanics for more than just sympathy. So what you see here is essentially a very durable cage system with foam bricks in it. And it's got a platform on top, which is really strong and sturdy and can hold lots of different things. So this piece, for a service, can hold more than just an urn. Thank you. Mm-hmm. It can hold a tribute candle. And because I have something smaller sitting on top of this, I've used a little bit of moss to base around this, so you don't see any foam. It has a professional finish. But when you're delivering something like this to the funeral home, they're going to look down there. People are going to look down in this arrangement. You don't want them to see your mechanics. You don't want them to see tape. You don't want them to see that your arrangement is sitting on a pizza tin. I know you're out there. What else can we put on this? Speaking of events, this can hold something like this. So now this becomes an entryway piece at the funeral home, perhaps. You can drop cards in it. You can drop notes in it. It can be used for weddings and events as well. They also hold a ton of weight. This is a big vase. So this could be full of flowers sitting on top of this component here, and it would hold that weight easily. I've used these pieces a number of times for different events outside. I've put really tall, heavy cylinders full of water on them. I've left them overnight, and they last. It's pretty amazing. It's very deliverable because you can deliver everything in separate pieces, which is really great. The tray in the bottom holds a reservoir of water, too, which is kind of nice. So when you're designing in it, your water's not going everywhere. We want to be conscious of that. And then when you're carrying it, there's somewhere for that water to go. So overall, a really great mechanic. If you're not using something like this for your sympathy pieces, your tributes, your urn arrangements, this is something to consider, and Syndicate has them to show in their booth. It's really great.
So I really quickly want to just tell you how I constructed this. This is actually hot glue. And
the glue lace. I love the glue lace.
Yeah,
it's
so
cool.
Using a silicone pad. If you don't have one, get one, because if you have the cold glue and you're doing corsage work, you can just peel it right off. It's great. But just make a ribbon of that on your silicone mat. I sprayed it gold and then just used dashes to attach it to the Mia vase. And then dashed my glue dashed the water tubes on, and then put another ribbon on top to decorate it. I rent this piece out. I rent it for weddings, for card holders. I rent it for funerals so people can write memories on it and put in there for the families afterwards. So
she's making some money on
yeah,
that, is what she's saying.
If you haven't thought about rentals for funerals, think about it. Yeah. Psst. Sorry. What should we do next?
Since we're on the topic of
All
urns,
right. So as Derek was saying, that Sympathy cremations are up. They're up between 30 to 50% around the United States, and with good reason. A lot of people don't live close by. Religious beliefs have changed. So there's a lot of factors in why we're not doing as many, or that they're not long anymore. We used to have a 2-day visitation and then the funeral, and now what? It
yeah,
could be
it's a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
In and
so
out.
I love nature. I love very natural, woodsy things. And if I had any of my employees here, they would say, Helen saves everything. She doesn't throw anything away.
She's a hoarder. I
Tell me
told you.
there's someone else out there like the, yes,
Yeah, raise
my
your hand.
tribe.
See, there they are. You're all florists. I know
Thank
you do this.
So, so I do have some birch branches that had fallen in the area, just some grasses.
The
that
dried
are
grass
dried.
is so effective.
Aren't they pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always ask me, why are you saving those?
Well, it
So
looks good.
and then just texture. And I did take some aspidistra leaves and just rolled them. And if you look in here later, you can see that they're kind of stair-step down or terraced through here. And I, again, just like that backdrop for all of the grasses, it needed something dark and heavy behind it so that those would show up. And then this is also sitting on the syndicate sales. It's the smaller Serenity, and then with the round riser that's holding the urn.
So this is the larger size. That you can make a really big arrangement in this. There's also square platforms. So if you have a square urn or something that's just oddly shaped, maybe a piece of statuary or something different that has to fit in there, you can place these at different widths so it can accommodate lots of different types of things. So very versatile.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do without this product. I love it. I use it. I don't ever have to worry about anything wilting down because it holds so much water. And secure, it's not a weak foam, it's a very dense foam, so it holds things in place. What collection is this again? This is the
That's the studio collection.
Studio collection, yay! It's a natural texture as well. I like that a lot. So what do you guys see in here
That's
that
pretty
looks
cool.
different?
I love that. That's a great
Yeah.
piece.
Look how big this looks.
How
And
big it looks.
how much money you could make off of this. This is a placemat that I picked up at a store. For
Good use, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So my cost was $1. I charged $2, but you could charge more if you want. And then if I took this away, look at how minimal the product is in there. There's hardly any product in there, but it looks like a lot. And then just adding in some of the dried materials, the grasses. I wanted to really quickly just talk about those. If you're using dried materials, you need to make sure that you're wood picking them and then taping them because they can wick water and get soft and kind of fall over. So make sure that you're making sure that if they make a connection with water, that they're going to be secure. And then the other little trick that I wanted to show you, ooh, hello.
Just making sure you're awake.
Sorry, is I took a water tube, and did you know that that's how syndicate sales started?
The water tube, the aqua pick
The
specifically.
aqua pick. Guys, that's what started their whole business. I think that's just amazing. Was it 1946?
1946.
Yes. It's amazing how far they've come. 75 years. But this is just on a wood pick, maybe. I can't get it out.
And,
But
it's decorative too,
Yeah.
the way you've displayed it.
because I wanted to get this out further and kind of what a
You
shelter.
terraced- I think you terraced again.
Okay, terrace. I just wanted that to be a feature. So having that come out and on the vase really features that lily there.
Girls, we can take the next set, please. We're just going to continue to dress this casket for you because we love her so much. Now, I'll tell you, as I pick this up, there's finger grips on the bottom of this casket saddle, and I can feel that
Thank
there's
you.
water in it, which is kind of awesome. So as you're inserting your stems into a piece like this, the water has somewhere to go. It doesn't just go all over the place, it doesn't dump. So that's a really important design feature and asset for something like this.
What do you think of the yellow?
Woo, yeah. She vibrant.
I love when people come into the store and they say, I want something really big and showy. What's the first thing that you suggest? Anyone?
Anyone? Foliage.
Foliage is good. I suggest color. I suggest the advancing colors, like the yellows, the oranges, and the reds. They show up from a distance. They reflect light. So they're going to always stand out more than any other in the funeral home. And doing something very distinctive with them. Also, this is kind of very textural.
Very textural. Your groupings are really strong.
Yes. So yes, and then your eye goes right into where those roses are. It just draws you right in. And using those palms also, and then just doing a sweep of the hollow leaves. And Oncidians are my favorite. Love
They're
them.
very effective, and the foliage, like you said, Doug, is very effective. It's like the biggest boisterous part of this arrangement. It gives it a scale, but the color gives it the impact.
Color gives it the impact. So if you have someone that says big and showy, have them do the warm colors, the advancing colors. And what I did on the easel, someone asked me if this was driftwood. It's paper. It's packing paper.
She's got lots of that. She's a hoarder.
And you just take.
No.
I don't come to my store. No. Basement's full, and a barn, and no. So I just twisted it. Daniel knows, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, oh, good. I just took a little bit of cold glue in here and then worked it around the easel inside of the paper. But you could use spray glue as well. But what a great effect that would go in the trash. And it just adds to that piece, I think. It takes, you don't notice the easel, it's an addition to the arrangement.
And I love the idea of dressing an easel, and even in the book, we did it a number of times for the photography, just using a little bit of chiffon or some fabric, and it really classes up the display, the presentation, if you have something to kind of accent the arrangement. The paper is a really great way, a great natural way to show off the flowers. A chiffon is beautiful with multicolors, or even just an all-white set as well.
And then just another piece that I did for the casket. I love this one. I love the groupings, because when you do a really strong grouping like this, your eye goes right to it. And then enhancing it with the curly willow, it frames the whole thing. So your eye is constantly moving through this design and back here to the center, to the focal area. And then just continuing with the Oncidian orchids on the side, just to give it that feathery look, and the different textures of the foliages. And then a little bit of natural mushrooms to match with the curly willow. But yeah, I like this one a lot.
It's a very beautiful piece. Helen has the flair for the dramatic, if you can't tell. And I love that about her sympathy work, is because it just doesn't look like common sympathy work. And there's ways that we can be expressive with the materials that go into this. I love the mushrooms. For somebody who were a mushroom hunter as a hobby, like, can you imagine how effective that would be and how impactful that would be to all the people who knew them? I think that's really strong.
Yeah.
That's cool. Ladies, next.
Where are we going with this?
I'm getting my squats in today. It's great.
Those have the finger holds under them too.
Yes, this is just the single casket
This
saddle,
is-
but it has
yeah.
the finger holds underneath, which makes it very
Okay, I
easy to
need the
carry.
chimes for this.
Helen's mechanics are always sound. I know nothing's going to fall out of anything she makes.
I don't know. These have been moved a lot. Speaking of moving a lot, when you do things for the funeral home, this is going to be loud, guys, sorry. Okay, maybe not so loud. When you do things for the funeral home, you have to realize that they're moved 7 times by the funeral home directors, handled that many times, back and forth to the gravesite, to the client's home afterwards. So we have to really make sure that we're covering all our mechanics, that there's no pins, that there's no wires to poke them. And one of their biggest complaints is the pollen. I've had my funeral home director say, oh my gosh, I got it all over my tie and I can't get it off. Do you guys tell them how to get it out?
Do you know how to get the pollen out if it gets on your clothes, linens, anything like that? Anyone know?
Yes.
Goo be gone. Okay.
That's
If it's a stain that's set in, does anybody know how to get that out? It's just sunlight.
Yeah. If you don't rub it too much and set it in the sunlight, tell them just to leave it there, it will totally dissipate.
Yeah, it's photoreactive. It's kind of amazing. You hang your shirt out on a line and it's gone after a sunny afternoon. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So remember that, and you can teach your funeral directors that trick.
Yeah, it's...
We'll take your linens. We'll bring them back stain-free. We charge a lot of money to do it. I like where your head's at, Doug.
Or a new tie if we can't get it out, right? So this piece, I kind of live out in the country, and I have access to a lot of branches and grapevine. So I just took some really young grapevine that was had started last year, and right now actually is a good time if you have any access to it to pull it. If you're going to go ahead and make it into wreaths or whatnot, because it's very supple right now. When it starts getting the leaves on it, then it's harder to work with.
That's a great harvest tip. I wouldn't know when to harvest grapevine.
Yeah,
so that's good
or
to
in
know.
the fall.
In the fall.
Yeah, not during the summer when the leaves are on it. Anyway, I just took the younger ones and just wound it around. It's twist tied with some bind wire in the natural color here and there, and I did zip tie this big branch on there as well. The cage, I wanted to show you a different way to use a cage.
Yeah, you don't have to put the cage at the top of the easel.
No.
Who knew?
Yeah, and it's going to stand out at the funeral home. We always have an issue with where are we going to hang these? You know, how do you display these?
If you're not selling shepherd's hooks, you're SOL. Not anymore.
Okay, so we might have a little ringing here. I didn't take the paper off of it.
That was smart.
This this keepsake and many others have come from Carson. They donated them for us. If you're not buying Carson keepsakes, they do lanterns and just a variety of things. We'll be showing you some more of those. But it was probably my #1 selling item in the store. They are amazing, wonderful keepsakes and good quality. I can't say enough about the company. You can research them online, or if you go to any of the marts, they're always there with a showroom. But isn't that a great way to display that? So pretty.
This is really, it's a great upsell opportunity as well, having all these different keepsakes,
Yes.
because the power of keepsakes, it's huge.
It's huge. Another thing too, Derek, you always talk about this, your website, keeping it up to date.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
having your price points up there. If you take your keepsakes and put them up on your website, it's like a salesperson for you when people are looking online. It's wonderful. They don't know you carry them.
Yeah,
So
it's a very easy sell.
Yeah.
It's just like having balloons, stuffed animals, candy,
Yeah.
all those things on your website that people just gravitate to when it's Valentine's Day. It's the same thing for Sympathy with the keepsakes.
And if it's an item you're going to always have in your store, like the lanterns, whatever, or angels, why not put it out there?
No, it should be out there, absolutely.
Yeah, and make sure while we're on website, make sure you're checking your prices because things have really gone up. So make sure that you're checking on that. And it's amazing how many people will look on your website before they even call you or come in your
They
store.
absolutely will. Yeah, I know you all do it when you have to send flowers somewhere. You're like, who's in this area? You're like, oh no. You do it. So do your customers. They're absolutely checking out who has what does it look like, is it their work? Other questions, is it populated with something that's not? It's important to stay up on your website.
It's totally very important to do that. Putting your own work out there. Take pictures of these things today if you like them, and then recreate them in your own store. Get these custom things on your site, because if all of the people in your town, or all the shops in your town are showing the same pictures, what makes you stand out? Why should they call your shop? So take pictures of your work, get them on your website. There is a new app, and I just started using it. I just purchased it. It is, I think, $100 for a whole year, but it's worth it. It's called Photo Room. And you can take your pictures in front of some yucky background.
Which we all do.
And it will change the background or blur it out, and it's amazing. And your piece will look stunning. So you don't even have to have an area anymore. So it's called photo room, and it's worth the money. I love it.
Another blip, if you have this book, you also get access to all of the digital assets, so all the photography that's in this book as well. So if you do need to populate your website with pieces that are beautiful and that you want to showcase as your offering, you can do that with the images from this book as well.
Put it out front.
Thank you. Can we have what's next, please?
I'll let you make the noise.
I think we're triggered by wind chimes. Everybody's like, shh. You know what I mean? It's like, don't let it ring. We just want to see it. We don't want to hear it. Not here. Come on up.
Oh, real quick, this is another keepsake by Carson, and not only does this, it's super cute, but it is a music box. I don't know if I can get it to play here. Where is the winder? I don't
If you're
know
going
where
to
it
sell
is.
music box, make sure they work.
Yeah, this does. I just don't know where the. Oh, thanks, guys.
They got your back.
Yeah, they do. So, yeah, it's really cute. Cardinals are huge. They are a symbol of a loved one coming back into your life, thinking of you. And I used to sell a ton of cardinals. Anytime anyone has wanted something with a cardinal, I always sent along this little saying, and I did print off a few extra. If you guys want to come up after the show, I'll be glad to hand out as many as I have. But it says, "A messenger to tell you we're never apart. My spirit will live forever, there within your heart. So when you see a cardinal, you will know it's true. I am near, never far away. I'm always here with you."
That's
Super
sweet.
sweet. And the families really appreciated that. So if anyone would like one of those later. But they're a great seller. Okay.
Beautiful.
Oh. Oh.
It magically appeared. There's
Oh,
more.
that's good, because that means we're talking too long.
I got
It's
you. I got
keep
you.
going, keep going. Okay. Again, nature. I had a huge ice storm in our area, and we had so many trees down. Like
You're all from this area. We got a blizzard last week.
major.
No big deal.
Major. So I brought a lot of those branches because I hated to see them go in the burn pile for everybody to use here this weekend. This is from a weeping willow tree, and I just love that sheltering feel that it's doing over top of all these florals. Again, talking about groupings, doing some strong groupings makes all those flowers more important. It almost makes them look like little plants that are growing.
Yeah.
And then using artificial flowers. Like this is just a silk flower. Sometimes you have to do this. Let your family know that you can't get whatever it is, and sometimes they look so real that you can't tell anyway. Or you just say, "Oh, it's a keepsake." But just doing some low pillowing, tufting, it just looks really pretty. I think it looks like a little forest setting here. And then the irises that are popping up with new life coming out, I think is real symbolic. Yeah, I really like that one. All right, Derek. Thank you.
Back to some product versatility. This particular display is created with a Serenity piece. Why are you pointing at me? Would you? Oh, excuse me. He's mad because he can't see.
Oh,
Hold on.
sorry. My bad.
If you don't know Ken Anderson, don't. Just kidding. We love him. There. Is that better? Okay, cool. This particular piece is actually constructed from a Serenity. So we have styled this on an easel. It's got eyelets, which is great. It makes it a versatile product. And we can use it to display different types. This actually has easels in the piece. It comes with little clear easels, so they hide nicely in here. And then we can insert a photo frame for display in a piece like this with lots of sheltering, which I love. I also have a tie on the back of this so I can secure it to the arrangement. Actually, this is a photo of Helen's parents. Isn't that nice?
They've been traveling a lot with me
Yes,
lately.
they have. They're actually featured in the book, aren't they?
They are. Yep.
They are. But there's a lot of different things that you might want to display. It could be something like a photo or Maybe it's a stepping stone. Again, back to the conversation of keepsakes. So this is, you have a price, $29.98. This can go in this display as well. We used moss to cover up the mechanics here, so you don't see the foam, you don't see the cage. And then this just becomes a floral showcase for what you're trying to show in this arrangement. It can hold a lot of weight if we wanted to do something like that. I love the design of something like this. I like messy. Helen gave me a lot of guidance when it came to some of these palettes. This very feminine garden floral palette. It's very popular, very popular. The lavenders, the pinks, the greens, the blues. It's a very soothing color palette, and it goes really well with just a little bit of messiness. I really like it. What you got there?
You can show them.
So these are the little easel pieces that I was talking about. So these come with the Serenity assortment, and you can use them for a photo frame, you can use them for a book, anything that you want to showcase in a Serenity piece, or you can take something like this and use them vertically in the piece as well. Thank you. I love the versatility. I keep these products around. Some of us don't have a lot of space. Some of us don't have a barn in a basement, in a house, and however many places that they can fill with stuff. And they need to be able to use products for multi-uses, and this is one of those great products. I knew this stage would fill up fast.
I know. How far are we? I didn't know I could talk so much. Yes, I did. Lavender and purples and blues, you know, are always so popular. And I just wanted to show something that was pretty traditional and how we can bump that up a bit. So very asymmetrical. If you haven't been back to their booth, Puckett's donated a lot of these dried materials, and they can do any color. They also do, this is a color enhanced foliage, the little foxtail. I've used it. I actually used to consult for them and come up with some of the colors for their color enhanced foliages, and it was just a fun thing to be involved with all of that.
And you're going to see a lot of that this weekend.
Yeah.
So wait till you see what the other designers are doing
So
with it.
yes, you will. So I just made another grapevine heart and wanted to add that in. But how simple does that change that whole look of that piece? I don't know if everybody can see it. You know, just adding that little bit.
And what's going on with that container, Helen?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Thanks, Derek.
I like it. It's cool.
So the container is the classic urn, and our designer urn, and I just took and did a paint treatment on it. And it's really simple to do, and I think you've probably seen it on YouTube and different things where they're doing it with canvases and fabrics. Well, I just took a bucket of water and put some paint in there. Actually, it was just silver, and kind of swirled it around, and then took the urn and just kind of rolled it in the paint, and it all comes up onto the container. You can paint these any color that you want. It can be a straight color, but they take paint really, really good.
It's got a really cool marble effect to
Yeah.
it, so it adds a lot of value without adding a lot of cost to it. Speaking of keepsakes, we have another one here for you. This one's from Carson's. This lantern. And then displayed sweetly in a small arrangement. Not every arrangement has to be big. You know, we talked a little bit about pricing, and things are more expensive now than they ever really have been. And there's ways to work around that. One of the little tricks that I do when I'm doing work, either arrangements for my website for delivery, sympathy work, event work, is I kind of design everything front-facing. Front-facing. It's not one-sided. The back is finished. You can look at the back, and it's absolutely 100% finished. But we put the money to the front. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at a lot of the pictures in this book, for example, and you see these big, lush, full arrangements, you're looking at a 2D picture. When you translate that to a design, you want to make sure that you're showcasing all your best blooms forward. That's what they're paying for, but it has to be finished all the way to the back. And just keep in mind that somebody is always going to be seeing the back at some point. But that's a really great way to stretch the budget.
And just really quick, this is beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, love it. How many of you have the scrap buckets of silk heads in your house? Yep. Okay, me too.
We've seen their hands before.
And me too. Get those out. If you're going to have these lanterns, go ahead and decorate them, sell them as a whole unit. It's super simple. People want something on it. They don't want you to just send a lantern or sell this whole arrangement or sell them all together. That would be beautiful too.
Yeah, that can sit right down
Yeah.
in there, no problem.
Yeah, so don't let those scraps sit down there. This is just like a little corsage with a little bit of fresh greenery added to it, and they look amazing at the funeral home. These do not come with batteries. I give that an option to my customers to add on the price of the batteries of $2 to cover that as well. So you can have them lit at the funeral home.
And people love the keepsakes because they want to take stuff with them. That's why they're called keepsakes. Everybody's looking for something to take with them. The first arrangements to go to the home are the ones in the vases and the ones with something in them.
I don't know where to go with these. Here.
Here. Give me that. Front and center, where she deserves to be.
I'm spinning. All
Twirling, we call it twirling.
Twirling, okay. Twirling. What do you think?
Love it.
Pretty.
Big fan.
So this is constructed on a 15-inch ring.
15-inch ring.
And it's got a little special thing here. We're going to slide it. Help me. There, and you can drop it.
The gasp. That's my favorite.
So you don't have to do it this way, but I just wanted to show you the mechanics of it. I really like this. These are very sturdy wreath frames, and I actually had my husband cut this in half on his table saw, and then I just took a drill and drilled 4 holes, and it has zip ties in it to hold it like that. So it's
Come over here and show that to this side too.
super, super, super.
It's a nice little hack.
Yeah. So you need to take off these clips. They come off really easily. Oh, I've got it taped down. Sorry. These come off really easily. Take the foam out. That's when you cut it, and then put the foam back in. And you'll have to actually cut this a little bit differently to make it work and put it back together again. But it's such a great mechanic. It's super strong, and I just wanted to share that with you as something different.
I love the look of it off the edge of the table, and we put this little sweet cherub in here in the little garden. It's very effective, and something like this, they're going to put front and center. This is going to be at the front of a table. This is the piece that people will see at the service.
It creates a memory, a very good memory for the people, a picture in their minds of what that funeral was and their loved one and the love that they did to made for the loved one that passed. So
shameless plug on this one too, but Helen is teaching this in a workshop next month.
I am.
Actually, it's this month. It's March already. I forgot.
Yeah.
So if you're going to Illinois State and you want to learn how to do this, she'll be teaching that there. Thank you, Jessica. Okay. Ooh, yeah, love this.
Are you enjoying it so far? Any questions?
No questions. Everybody's so quiet.
Questions? Okay, you can bring them all, right? Bring them all?
Yep, they can all come out. We're staying on time. We're doing well.
Okay. Well, you get both of us up here talking, Derek, you know.
We're ramblers.
Yep.
Thank you so much. How about these crew, these volunteers that are here? These are great people. We couldn't do it without them.
Again, so this is a advancing color. Look at that orange, how it just pops.
Yeah, that's great.
It's
Thank
probably
you.
not a color that everybody's going to ask for, but if you can talk them into it, gosh, it's so stunning. And I just wanted really quickly to talk about just the symbolisms a little bit. I'm messy.
Symbolism is important. It's a very useful key to when you're selling funeral work. You can really make a connection with people. If you can take some kind of symbolism and pull it forward to the audience, the people that are attending these services, what are they going to see? What are the emotions that you're going to evoke? These are the powerful statements with flowers that we make when we do sympathy work.
And it creates that memory for the family. Adding in these branches with the butterflies represents rebirth, transformation, hope, love. I think butterflies are requested an awful lot in our, I have a lot of stems in here.
She full.
That are requested a lot in our industry, and I love to do that. You have to make sure that you're talking to your funeral home director. Let them know what you're making, because a lot of them do not like height.
They don't like height. Do you know why they don't like height? Because it doesn't fit in the car, right? So the communication is key when it comes to that. You have to make things easy for them to move, or they're not going to like you. And we want them to like you, right?
We want to show different, because they do appreciate that.
They definitely like different.
They see the same things coming through all the time, and they, I think, get to a point where they don't value flowers for some reason. But flowers have been with funerals associated with for centuries, all the way through history. Flowers are part of bereavement. And if we can send things like this, I think that, again, they're going to stand out. So make sure you're talking to your funeral home director and letting him know. Now, if these were open, it would be stunning.
There's some great tricks to get lilies open. We've all been in this situation too, where we're like, oh, I have a funeral, or oh, I have a wedding, and I need these lilies to open. And everybody has their old wives' tales, right? So my favorite method and that I'd like to share is you remove as much foliage as possible, and you asphyxiate them.
There we go.
You're like, what? I leave them out of water for almost a number of hours. If you don't feel comfortable for a number of hours, you can do it for an hour. Give them a really good cut, couple of inches off the stems, and drop those suckers in hot water. As hot water as will come out of your faucet. You can tent them with a bag. You can put them in the sunlight to create the little greenhouse effect, but you're shocking them open. So they have to be of a certain place in their life cycle. So these are about to pop. You can see the color. They're about to pop open. That will help them give a little push to get them open. That's a little tidbit from me.
The other thing that I did with those butterflies, I did not, these are just glue dashed onto the branches.
That's easy and fast. We like easy and fast.
A half a dash. These are just basically he's flying away. They are just, the wires are real thin, and I just tucked them right in the center of the gerbera.
And do you see the movement? And it's just such little subtle movement, but it feels alive. And there's something comforting in that. And this will be just a breeze in the room. Somebody can walk by it. If it's an older funeral home, the floor will move. This all provides movement for something like this. You know what I'm talking about. But it's powerful, it's effective. It's great. Nice job, Helen.
Thanks.
You want to bring that over here?
We'll do this one really quick.
Let's
and then
do that.
You finish it up. Another cremation piece. Sometimes, there is budget concerns, and we want everybody to have something really beautiful for their loved one. So this might be a way also to incorporate like a square urn. I've got the risers down here. Just put moss across the top of it.
I was going to say, I saw that you mossed it. I'm proud of you for doing that. It's very effective for covering the mechanics. It's fast. It's available.
And then underneath is just the aspidistra, and just poking it through and pulling it around, and then the next one to just cover all the foam. So there isn't a lot of materials here at all.
And you don't have to green it in meticulously. No. You can just cover it really easily, and you can still get this statement.
Right, and so you have purposeful placements of your foliage and your flowers, and just doing a framing effect over the urn is really pretty, and brings attention to it and makes it the important part of that piece.
Where'd the pussy willow come from? Did you forage it?
I did.
You can, look at it. It's stunning. It's beautiful. You probably have a space where you have that, I'm sure.
My neighbor. Shh, don't tell.
We make friends with people who have good floral products.
Yeah. So there's
lovely. I love that. That's great.
Get that off of here.
We also wanted to touch a little bit on the pet market. We did do a little bit of a display in the book showcasing just some bereavement materials for pets, because people who have pets know that they're like their children. And people who don't have children, their pets are their children. So the idea of bereavement for a pet, if somebody loses a pet, this is a great market. People absolutely send flowers to people who have had to put their dog down. And having an appropriate offering for something like that is really powerful and important too. One of my best sellers on my website, I only have a few, and I give people a reason to send flowers. This is why they choose this arrangement. And one of them is a pet bereavement. It's absolutely appropriate to send your neighbor something like this, someone who's a friend or a family member, something just simple and sweet as a remembrance. If you want to be a little extra, some of us are. Some of us are in this audience.
Really quickly, I market my veterinarians, so I have a lot of them that I've approached with a small arrangement. It may be smaller than that, but I approach them, and when they have a very good client who has a pet that's deceased, we send out an arrangement to them for that veterinarian. It has been a wonderful market. If you haven't done that, I would really suggest maybe, talking with them, bringing samples so they can see it and have that readily available for them.
And how many vets are in everybody's community? There's so many. So those are really great relationships you can build on something sad to make something beautiful from it. This particular piece, I did my own little butterfly thing here, only mine are facing each other. I love the symbolism with that. And the idea that they're facing each other just means that you'll see them again someday, right? This is actually my puppy. She passed away. But this is a really lovely keepsake that I got from a friend, not from a florist, but this is perhaps a service one could offer and could be delivered with flowers as well.
I love that piece. Really nice.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? I apologize, I'm losing my voice. I talked a lot yesterday. Does anybody have any questions for us about any of the materials that are here, about the mechanics, about the flowers, any techniques? Does anybody have any questions at all?
Yes. Yes, Sympathy Stylings, and we have it in the Syndicate sales booth.
So in case you missed it, this is our new book. It's been out for almost about a year and a half now. And we are actually going to be visiting the Syndicate sales booth, our sponsor here, after the program. And you can draw to win a book, and we'll sign it for you if you're interested in that kind of thing. We're very proud of this book. We put a lot of energy into it.
Yeah.
We created lots of beautiful things. We left with our eyes bloodshot, and we didn't get much sleep. And that's how it is in this industry, right? But we wanted to create something beautiful and new. So we would love to show it to you. Great question. This is our first. This is the first Syndicate one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Aren't those
Thank you.
great? Yeah. Anyone else have some questions? We have so much enjoyed being with you all today. It's been wonderful. I hope you found some inspiration in what we've shown you. Derek, I've had a blast working with you.
I've had a blast with you, and thank you to our sponsor, Syndicate Sales. If you guys need to reach out to us after the program, after the expo, take a picture of this screen. We are very connected on social media. You can send us a message to ask us a question, and we'd be happy to answer it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're welcome.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. My mic's on again. There we go. Hey, thank you again to the sponsors, Syndicate Sales, for an absolutely fantastic product. I told you guys were going to be blown away. I love every single thing that's out here. They did such amazing work, and what a great team. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sure appreciate it. So we have just a couple of things. Be sure to fill out for your silent auction. Bid often and bid regularly. Get that done. We have just a real quick turnover right now. The next show is going to be about 15, 20 minutes. So don't go too far, but you can get to the back of the room and make those bids. We're going to get the stage turned over. Thanks so much, guys.
You got about 5 minutes to take pictures.
Sure, sure.